You're listening to 91.3 FM, WCW in Worcester. If not, you're checking us out hopefully on the Radio of Horror YouTube channel. And tonight we are talking about the 30th anniversary of the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie that I ever watched when I was 9 years old, and it was on HBO at the time because I was too young to go see it in theaters. But you never forget your first. And this is the 30th anniversary of the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master conversation with my friend, composer Lito Velasco. Thank you, Lito.
Hi.
And special guest star from the movie, Lisa Wilcox. Thank you for joining us on Radio of Horror once again, Lisa.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes, 30 years. Woo.
30 years. And I think I remember Robert being on an episode of Good Morning America to promote this movie, which was a huge deal at the time, back in 1988 when this movie was in theaters.
I believe it. I mean, it was interesting. I did an interview with Brooke Thies Tuesday night in Toy Newkirk. Anyway, I learned that actually on Roseanne and the Golden Girls, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master was actually referred to in their episodes. I had no idea these whole 30 years, but it was pretty cool to watch it, the referral, to the movie.
Lito, what was the first time you'd ever seen this film?
Well, I grew up with the Nightmare series. I saw the first one on video cassette, and it promptly introduced it to everyone I knew and loved. And then I, kind of followed the series along because I was one of the generation of Fred heads. Freddie was he was on shirts and posters and toys and everything. And so, of course, when Nightmare on Elm Street 4 came out, I wasn't allowed to see it I was not allowed to see Part 3 because there were picket lines in front of the theater in my hometown because they didn't want kids watching Part 3. I think by the time Part 4 came out, the picketers kind of gave up and realized it was a hopeless situation because we were going to see it no matter what. I went to... It's kind of shocking when you think about it by today's standards, but I went to see it with my friends in a theater in my hometown, and I'll never forget how excited we were to hear that, opening title song, and then when the logo flashes up on the screen, the entire audience, which was pretty much comprised of teenage boys, all started just hooting and hollering and clapping, and so it was a big deal. It was a big deal for us.
Oh, I love it. I love it. When we went to go see it opening night in Westwood here in Los Angeles, my dad rented a limo and he brought grandma and we went and saw the movie. So it's pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
How did it feel knowing that up until Freddy vs. Jason came out, you had the highest grossing film in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise?
Yes, and we were all pleasantly surprised by that. Absolutely. It just was quite the phenomenon that summer. It opened in August, and it beat out like Young Guns and other movies. It was like in the top number one for several weeks, top 10 for weeks and weeks. So it was really, we were just thrilled about it. Really thrilled. Had no idea. It was a fun movie, too. I almost think it's a date movie because there's really funny jokes. There really isn't that much. There's not blood and gore, Yeah, you do have Debbie turning into a cockroach, but, it happens.
That is the craziest thing about that movie is that cockroach scene.
Yeah, that's quite the scene. And also you have Freddy on the beach putting on Ray-Bans. Okay, what horror film ever has bright sunlight? A scene with bright sunlight on the beach, right? So, it really was it was just such a fun and clever film.
Did you ever do that thing that the actors, directors, producers do, that you go to the red carpet, but then you go see the movie with like an audience of just like normal people to find out what their reaction is?
Well, then, no, there was no red carpet, and we just went to a theater that everyone else was at, regular audience.
There was no red carpet?
Which was so fun, because we got to see, their reaction and laughter and all of that stuff, so.
That sucks that there was no red carpet.
Nope. No. I don't know why. It's funny, no, it was not the Chinese theater, the Grauman Chinese red carpet affair at all. We went to Westwood. That's where we all met to go see it. So, but we did this year. had a special evening at the Chinese Theater at the Grauman screening of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, celebrating the 30th anniversary, and it was completely sold out. That was pretty cool.
That was an amazing event. The most inspiring thing about that, I think, honestly, was, I mean, having worked on the documentary, I got to kind of know and meet Lisa and some of the other people that worked on it. And I think I was there the day Rennie came in. But when we went to New Line to interview Bob, it was so funny because it was like, Bob's a busy guy. Like, don't talk to Bob. Like, only ask him questions pertaining to the interview. And it was like, okay, totally, I get it. He's in his office and he's in his element, so I understand that. But what made that night so incredible was that Rennie and Bob showed up to the screening together at Grauman's just a few months ago, and it was for me, I was like trembling because Lisa's horror royalty, but like I kind of have gotten to know her a little bit, but like to be there with Bob Shea was like, I walked up to him and I said, "Sir, please let me buy you a drink. Like you've inspired me. You've filled my youth with so many incredible memories. Let me, pay you back just a little bit." And he was so kind and he was so gracious. And it was just something really special because everyone there loved that movie so much. So to be able to see Rennie and Bob together again and just tell them thank you for everything and, buy him a few drinks and whatever, that was something I think a lot of us will never forget.
Oh yeah, it was really special for us, the cast as well, to have Rennie and Bob all in the same room, and like Rennie and I hadn't seen Rennie, I think, since the movie actually. We'd follow each other on Instagram or whatever, but hadn't actually seen him, and we were just like long lost daughter and long lost father kind of thing. We had tears in our eyes. I mean, we really. And then after the movie, it was the same thing. And it was just like just an amazing reunion. It just really, really was. So we made a promise to be committed to Friends.
Other movies that came out in August of 1988 that you share it with, as you mentioned, Young Guns, we also had the horror remake of The Blob, which came out 2 weeks prior.
Interesting.
We had the drama The Big Blue. We had the Academy Award-winning film The Last Temptation of Christ. Michael Keaton a year before playing Batman in Clean and Sober, the comedy Married to the Mob, the terrible E.T. wannabe Mac and Me, and Betrayed.
Very interesting. Well, Nightmare 4 kind of kicked their boots. It's pretty wild.
Now, do you maintain a friendship with your on-screen crush co-star Dan Jordan, played by Danny Hassel?
We are absolutely friends, and he lives in Los Angeles now, and I know his wife and his daughter. And an interesting phenomenon too is, honestly, we were like cast. We had great chemistry, I feel, on camera, but also we had great chemistry as people. And so they're all like some of my very best friends, like Tuesday Night and Brooke Thies and Toy Newkirk. And Toy Newkirk, she lived in New York for about 10 years, and then she moved back to Los Angeles, and she lived with me for a year, So we're like really, really tight and close. And that doesn't always happen. Usually you do a film or a play or whatever, and you never see those actors again. You never see them again as friends, So it's a very unique experience. We really are family. If they needed a kidney, I'd give them a kidney. Not that they'd want my kidney, but I would offer it.
And you also the poster for Nightmare 4 is probably either the number one in the series or the second best in the series, just behind Nightmare Part 3.
Yeah, it's beautiful artwork. I love the artwork that they do on those posters. They're just so creative, and you keep seeing different things in it as you look more closely,
Yeah.
Just love it. And, DVD sets have come out and whatnot. And my favorite ones for sure are the ones that have each individual poster for that film on the box, because then later on they were doing prints and it just had it just said Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that. But the ones that have a black background and then the poster on the box, love those.
Yeah. There's something classy about them. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Photoshop jobs that they tend to do nowadays for movie DVD cases. I think they look really cheap, and there's something so timeless about the
Yes.
art that Matthew Peak did for that series. I mean, even when Nightmare 6 came out, he did a painting for it that you can see on the CD album of the score, but that's the only place you can see it because they used like a Photoshop job for the actual release poster. And I remember even in that era, I was like disappointed. It was like, wait, where's the really cool, art for Matthew Peak? They shouldn't have broke from that tradition, but things change, I guess.
Yeah, they do, and maybe it's cost or whatever, but I agree. And you used, I think, the perfect word, classic. It just makes it classic. Yeah.
You have the
and those are my eyes. That is me.
Oh, that is you. Okay, cool.
Those are my eyes.
You have one of the best transformations of a character. One of the top 10 best transformations of a character, rating right up there with like Luke Skywalker going from farm boy to Jedi Master, of a character in any movie. I mean, you have this great, like, very wallflower kind of nerdy, very plain Jane looking girl in the beginning to this kind of leather jacket badass by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and believe me, as a performer, and when I read the script, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a great role because of the character arc. We just love to play those kind of roles where you see significant change evolve with the character. Like as you said, from wallflower to badass. And I can't tell you too, so many of the supporters and fans and whatnot, they love that transformation, and it also sort of has inspired people too, that change is possible. You can face adversity and come out strong. So
there's Lito, I know you can't stay for very long. Did you have anything else you wanted to say to Lisa before you had to leave?
No, I mean, just that I was thrilled that you guys, that you asked me to come on here. She knows I'm a big fan of hers. Every time I see her, I basically throw myself at her because, I mean, I hate to say it, and I'm going to humiliate myself, but, I've had a crush on her since I was a little kid. And obviously I'm happily married now, but there's always a part of you that remains that kind of starry-eyed little teenage guy. And even though like I'm now working in this town and I know Lisa, and we actually are going to be in a film together next year called Between the Living and the Dead that we were both cast in. And it's remarkable to evolve from where I came from and now be in the place that I am. But something that hasn't changed over the years is her performance in that film is still, it holds up to this day. It's one of, like you said, it's one of the best horror leading female roles you'll ever see, because she does go through such a transformation. And it's not just, in Nightmare 4. I love that transformation continues in Nightmare 5, that she's now, growing into the mother role, and that she's, become even more fierce in her need to protect the people that she loves. And she does it with such grace and such beauty that, I mean, personally myself, when they got to Nightmare 6, I was a little bit, bummed. I was like, wait a second, where's Lisa? Where's Alice? I mean, where's Jacob? Where are these characters? And I get that they made the choices that they did for a reason, but she'll always be with Heather and with Jamie Lee Curtis. She'll always be one of the legendary, timeless horror heroines and heroes, regardless of gender. She's one of the best heroes that I think the genre has ever seen, and she stands right up there with Amy Steele from Friday 2, with Heather in the original Nightmare, with Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. Their performances will always be something that inspires generations to come forever, and I think that's really a testament to the role that she did and the work that she put in. So thank you for that. And thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to see you again. And hugs, and everybody enjoy Nightmare 4.
Oh, thank you, Lito. You made me cry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really. And I can't wait to work with you. And I love that movie we're doing. Oh my gosh, it's awesome.
It's going to be great. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Lito, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Lisa, you've played Alice more than just twice, because you were in the Fat Boys music video as Alice, correct?
Well, yes. I don't know. Am I actually in it? I don't remember doing it. Maybe they had a body double or something. This is terrible. Now I have to look it up. I'm so embarrassed.
It's
I've heard
quick.
of it.
It's very quick, and I think it's probably it might just be like footage from the movie. Maybe it's not new. It's been a very long time since I've seen the video. Since I've seen the video, I'm more familiar with the song, but I do remember seeing you in it. But maybe my memory is playing tricks on me, and maybe it's just footage from the movie, and that's why it's counted as being an appearance in it.
I think it's an appearance. Yeah, it's a clip because I think I would remember doing music video because how cool would that be to be on a music video set? That would be amazing. So now when we finish, I'm going to go look it up on YouTube.
Now, did you ever find out what happened to Alice later on when they kind of brought her back for the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comics?
No, they used old footage, and they let me know and whatnot and
but I'm referring to the comic books. Did you ever read
the comic books?
Did you ever I
don't know.
Yeah, they made a comic book, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, as in Ash Williams from the Army of Darkness Evil Dead films as played by Bruce Campbell.
I do not know.
Yes.
I do not know the comic book ending or what happened. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
They Alice is part of the Dream Warrior survival people, along with the Crystal Lake survivors. She and Jacob, who is grown up, I think like a teenager in it, are in it for a few panels, and then she is killed.
Oh, well. I don't know what became of Alice. I don't know. Dead end there for me. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But I'd look up the comics. They're not terrible, but they're okay. They're either hit or miss. But it's the only Alice kind of future that I ever saw them doing anything with. Now, if they ever went the way of, are you familiar with that there's a Friday the 13th video game out there with like Kane Hodder playing Jason in it?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yes. Okay. Unfortunately,
yes.
It has been enveloped in the lawsuit between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham, so updates for the game have ceased, unfortunately.
Oh, gosh.
But I'm the fans who really appreciated all the time and effort that was put into the Friday the 13th video game are hoping that somebody will contact Warner Brothers, who I'm assuming owns the rights to Freddy Krueger and the Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm assuming that's AT&T, as to AT&T has bought Warner Brothers.
Right.
And that means all properties, included Warner Brothers, including New Line Cinema, which owns the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Would you come back to voice Alice if they stuck her in a video game, like a Nightmare on Elm Street video game, where you have to be you get to play as either Freddy, which Robert would hopefully come back and voice, or one of the people. And I'm assuming they would, obviously the fans would petition to have like a Heather character, at least, Alice and so on and so forth. Would you come back and voice her?
Yes, absolutely, I would. And I've kind of been hearing through the grapevine that they are going to be doing a Nightmare on Elm Street game. And Darius, who helps me with my public relations and all that, he is researching that as we speak. So if we learn anything, I will post it all over my social media for sure. I think it would be just a blast. I mean, seriously, Freddy Krueger, Heather Langenkamp, Alice, all of it would be great.
I think
hope it happens.
I think honestly, since there doesn't seem to be any information about a new movie anytime soon, and God only again I think a lot of that has to do with the merger, the buyout that Warner Brothers just went through. Older film properties that they own might not be on their radar as much as like whatever the next Harry Potter movie is or something. I see that being like the next progression for the franchise, and again, it would be a great way to bring back beloved characters like Alice or Ken Sagos' Kincaid and so on and so forth.
Yes. Oh, it'd be wonderful, and I hope AT&T will put it on their radar as they look through their catalog of older films that they now own. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see.
We never got an Alice action figure, did we?
No. No, and actually, I even started a petition to have one made. And in fact, I was just looking at the contact that list the other day, and I've been told what company to, inquire with and whatnot. So, you never know. You never know.
It's something that is definitely needed. I know there's some new Freddy kind of stuff coming out from like part 3. There's the Freddy snake worm thing when he eats Patricia Arquette, I think, but there's no Patricia Arquette.
Oh yes,
but there's no Patricia Arquette figure, as the licensing rights to her likeness is kind of a little harder to do than versus like like the Freddy Krueger look is a little easier to get licensing to. Maybe I don't know anything about licensing, so I'm just speculating that's why that figure is not in with the set.
Well, I think it'd be a great action figure because I definitely would want to have Alice in her leather attire and some little mini nunchucks, right?
Yes.
I think that would be pretty cool, and I think it would be really cool to have a little piece of the jagged glass mirror, that I show in his face and say, "Evil will see itself and it shall die." I think that would be a cool little piece to have in the box set as well. What do you think?
I think you should also get a pizza box with the Freddy faces in the pizza.
Yes, pizza box. Yes, pizza box. Got to do that. Love that scene.
Of the 3 different ways that you're presented in that film, kick-ass, badass, leather, awesome nunchuck Alice, mousy little schoolgirl Alice, or older diner Alice, which one is your... I'm assuming your favorite is leather-clad Alice, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be my favorite. But I love doing the old Alice. I just love doing that because again, as an actor, it's just so fun. And so I gave myself kind of an arthritic walk, and I'm a little stiff, and of course the voice, and then the makeup was fun. And they tried several different ways to do the makeup. I think eventually they did end up doing a glued on pieces, but that was so fun to play, really fun to play.
You have to look back at that movie 30 years ago when you were playing the older version of Alice, and then fast forward now to 2018, and you have to say, whoo, thank God I don't look like the way old Alice did in that movie.
Well, yeah, right. I think that Alice was like seriously like 80 years old.
Oh, 80. Okay, so you're still another 40, 50 years away from 80, right?
Yes, thank you.
But you got to keep it in the back of your head. So when you figure out how old you were in the old makeup, when you hit that age, you can really look at it and go, I didn't look like that yet, or I don't look like that. Thank God.
Nope, don't look like that. Nope. In fact, I don't even have gray hair yet. Thank you very much, Mom and Dad.
I was combing my hair the other day, and there was a lot of gray hair underneath my darker hair. And I'm 38 years old, and I'm already going,
Oh dear. No, I knock on wood. Nope, I have no gray hair. And nowadays, every time I go get my hair done, I'm like, you see any gray hair yet? Anything coming in? And she's like, nope, you're good. I'm like, yay. So it'll happen eventually. That's all right.
You have been pretty much I guess that's the word, consecutively acting since 1984. Was that ever a time that there was like a big pause that you wanted to stop doing it?
Yeah, I did stop for actually quite a while. I got married and I had 2 boys, and once they started school, I wanted to be around. So and so much work was in town, but a lot of it was out of town too. I remember when my eldest, we did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the TV series by 20th Century Fox, and he was young enough, so we just went up to Vancouver and lived up there and whatnot. But once he started school, I really wanted to be around to be mom, It's really only in the past 2.5 years that I've completely gone back full time. Over the years I would do, an independent film, maybe one a year or something. But now I'm actually doing commercials again and print modeling and films and, all kinds of stuff. So.
Did you ever take anything from the set? It's been 30 years. I'm sure no one's going to come after you.
Oh, I wish I had. I used to have the Crave-In menu, but
Oh,
somehow that has disappeared. So it's probably in a box in the garage or something. And they gave me the dress that I wore that I wear in the end scene in Nightmare 5.
oh, when you're the nun,
I
right?
have that dress. And they gave me a pair of pajamas from Nightmare 5 too. But that's pretty much it. That's it.
Now, because you were Kruger's mom, right? In the
Yes, I
yes,
play
okay.
Amanda.
Yeah, you played Amanda as well. Okay, yeah. So you
Yes.
got to keep the nun outfit.
No, I
Oh,
didn't get an outfit. They didn't offer that one to me. I was young. It was, really my first big movie, and so I didn't know that you to ask props and ask, hey, can I keep this? Can I keep this? Can I keep that outfit? Now I know better.
you know what you should do? You should get your agent to get a hold of whoever's making the upcoming Bill and Ted Face the Music movie to see if you can play Missy Preston again.
Right, right. Oh, I wasn't aware that was happening. All right, I'm making a note. I'm jotting down a note.
Yes, Bill and Ted Face the Music has been officially greenlit and will begin filming in January.
Oh my gosh! And it's called Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yep, I think they're waiting on Keanu Reeves probably to finish up the third what do you call it, John Wick movie.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so
I love him.
maybe you can play his older his older stepmom.
Right on. How fun would that be? All right, I will definitely inquire. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what studio's making it. I just know it was officially greenlit. It was in Entertainment Weekly. It had a picture of
Okay.
Bill, Keanu Reeves, and Alex or whatever in the phone booth or whatever, and saying that,
Neat.
oh yeah, this is a thing that is happening.
Oh, I'm first in line for that.
um,
To see it in the theater.
with this long career that you've had in Hollywood, and all the different films that you were in, and with everything that's kind of coming out with Hollywood these days, did you ever see stuff happening that was there anything that ever affected your world, let's just say, without getting too personal, with everything that's been coming out about Hollywood people these past few months?
Oh, you mean Weinstein?
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
let's just point out the elephant in the room. Harvey Weinstein affected a lot of different people, and #MeToo has as well. Has that impacted your life in any way that without
Well,
I don't want
no,
to say
I mean,
were you
I have to say-
assaulted? I don't want to ask if you were assaulted, but was there ever a time?
No, I really can say I was never assaulted or anything of the kind, which is probably unusual. And I think the worst thing that ever happened, I remember I was looking for an agent. I had a meeting with this agent, and I went in a little purple knee pants and cute little purple yellow striped shirt with a little white collar, little sneakers, like Keds, and went into the meeting. He tells me to so I sit down, and he says, stand up. I'm like, okay. He's like, turn around. I turn around, and he's checking me out, and he's like, you need to dress a lot sexier, and I'm like, okay. Anyway, I did not go with that agency, but anyway, that's the worst, if you want to call, sort of humiliating thing looked at like a piece of meat, that ever happened to me. But I definitely have a very dear friend, a director, who was assaulted not by Weinstein, but an actor, prolific actor, and and he's shared it on his social media and whatnot, and it's just a darn shame. It's just a darn shame. So, and it's not to say it not only happens in Hollywood, it happens in corporate world too. It happens in every workplace. I'm just happy to see that it's now become an absolute no. So how degrading.
Absolutely. We can keep that part in or cut it out. I mean, again, we're not airing this right away, so I just,
I'm fine with it in.
Okay, that's fine. If there's one thing you can take from the Nightmare on Elm Street, sorry, let me start over. If there's one thing you can take from the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 that has impacted your life the most, what would it be?
I think is the impression that it made on so many young women and men. And it's years later now that I do the conventions and autograph shows and things like that. And people from all walks of life, from doctors to street cleaners to, whatever, how it impacted their life at that time and how, we became their family after school when they were being bullied or going through something terrible with parents getting a divorce or whatever it might be. Nightmare 4 was like their go-to happy place, and now too, I've noticed so many more female fans, and how the character of Alice and what she went through and what she did has, it had impact on their life, and got them through a bad time. So I would say that's what I take with me is kind of that honor and that, I didn't realize the impact that that character would have, So it's pretty thrilling actually,
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the show with us to talk about The Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. It was fantastic to meet you last year at the Rhode Island Comic Con at long last. You are still as beautiful as you were in that film 30 years ago.
Well, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. I try. I try.
Is it good, clean living? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, it's maybe all that red wine and cigarettes.
Wait, do you still smoke? You shouldn't be smoking, Lisa.
I don't know. It's Midwestern roots. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But thank you. And good genes. Again, thanks, Mom and Dad.
I'm looking forward to the next film you got coming out that Lito talked a little bit about with us as well. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes, and we have to be kind of hush-hush about it. We can say the title, but we can't really say what it's about. But I did just finish a film. I just got back last couple days ago from Kentucky doing a movie called The Bloody Man. And
hold on one second, Lisa. I gotta close. Hold on 1 second. I gotta close the door. Somebody left the door open.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Somebody left the back door open, and the sound is just like enveloping the entire studio.
Uh-oh. Okay. Where should we start from?
Just repeat what you just said.
I just got back from Kentucky, actually, doing a movie called The Bloody Man, and fellow cast member and friend Tuesday Night is also in it. We don't have any scenes together, but we are in the same film, which is pretty fun.
Cool. Definitely look forward to that as well. And I hope that, if you get any information about that Nightmare on Elm Street game, please slip it to us. We won't say anything,
Okay.
But we would love to know if there is any development going anywhere with a Nightmare on Elm Street game. Because, God, let's face it, what you can do in video games today definitely outshines movies, especially like a game where you have to go into people's dreams. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's such a great game. Such a great game.
It would be amazing.
I will definitely keep you all posted. If I learn anything, I'll reach out to you, and I'll certainly have it on my social media. And for you guys to, if you want to see what's going on in my life or what's happening, just go to my website, which is www.lisaewilcox.com. lisaewilcox.com. And there you have the Instagram links and Facebook and all that good stuff.
Again, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the show. Yes, check out Lisa's social media so you can contact her. You can also follow her on her website to find out what next horror convention or any convention that she's going to be appearing at coming up near you. And happy 30th anniversary for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master.
All right. Thank you so much. Fantastic.